Hi guys, Tuesday with Tanya here. I'm at Tavolo in Warwick, Post Road, right on Route 1, right in Warwick. Tavolo Wine Bar and Tuscan Grille to be exact. They do have another location in Smithfield as well. So I'm going to go over the menu items, get the menu right here. And I have a lot to say about the whole Matt Reilly situation, so I hope you tune in for that pod as well. If you're watching on a replay, definitely feel free to like and share. If you're watching on a replay or watching currently, definitely feel free to drop comments. I welcome any kind of comments on good or bad, but please just be honest and, you know, try to be nice or say things in a kind way. We don't want to always bash people, but I can't stop it. I welcome things onto my page. There was already a post actually written anyway. But first I'll go over the menu. They do have lots of wines to choose from, a huge selection. So does the Smithfield location that I had went to a couple months ago also, same restaurant, Tavolo. And over here as well, you can do little wine samples. I mean, it's very, very detailed with the wines, quite a bit. So I won't go over those again, but I did last time. So this time I'll just focus on more of the food. They have a raw bar with they have local oysters as one option, little neck clams. They have cold lobster tail, shellfish, shad towers. They have risotto bowls. They have sweet chili shrimp. They have, let's see, meatballs, whitewater mussels. They have a grilled Tuscan provolone sausage. They have soups and salads. I actually already had the salad with the roasted beets. They called it roasted beets salad. I added grilled chicken, so it's red beets, baby arugula, candied pecans, red onions, roasted shallot vinaigrette, goat cheese, and goat cheese crumbles. They have a shrimp salad. They have regular Caesar salad. They have tomato basil soup. They have pasta fagioli. They have different pizza options. We also I was here with a couple others. We actually shared that as well. They had, and we shared a margarita pizza, just basic, but it was very good, thin crust. They also have an Italian grinder pizza. They have bolognese pizza, that sounds different, and a prosciutto broccoli rabi pizza. They have some different pasta specialties, such as fresh ricotta cavatelli, eggplant rollatini. They have basic Parmesan over penne marinara with either chicken, veal, or eggplant. Baked lasagna, let's see. Then like filet mignon, pork chops, burgers, New York sirloin strip. They have a lobster ravioli. This is under the seafoods now I'm in. So again, for those of you just tuning in, I'm at Tavolo in Warwick. They have a shrimp scampi dish. They have a linguine and clams dish. Let's see. And then they have all different sides that you can add, including a truffled mac and cheese can be a side. Or they have a whipped sweet potato. That sounded good. I was actually going to get that too, but I think I ate enough with the pizza and with the salad. Also, I probably would have got that. Whipped sweet potato sounds good. Let's see. They have asparagus, roasted garlic mashed potatoes, and more. So definitely make your way here. And as always say, you saw it here on Tuesday with Tanya. Always helps out. So I do have a post up about the Matt Reilly councilman situation in Cranston. I know there's people who are agreeing with some things that are written. Some people are agreeing, some people are disagreeing. I'm kind of down the middle with the whole thing. I encourage you to read the comments if you're interested, even if you're not friends with me on here. My page is public, or mostly public. I do agree with Mayor Hopkins. Yesterday it appeared he didn't have a comment and that he was referring everything to the Cranston police. I agree with that because I think Cranston has bigger things going on other than to look at people and what they're doing in their private life. And I know people are going to say to me, well, you know, he's an elected official, Tanya, so we kind of have to know about his private life. I mean, yes and no. You know, I agree and disagree with that. I feel like he was alone at the time. He didn't hurt anybody. It only made the news because he's an elected official, else this would have never made the news. I'm not saying it's okay to do drugs. I'm definitely not encouraging drug use. But here's my thing, like anything in this world, you have to be able to prove it. So prove it. Prove those were his drugs. Prove it was in his system. That has not been said or not. Was it found in his system? Is this an isolated incident for him or not? Or is this an ongoing problem? There's a lot of questions here, okay? I did read something saying he was stable. And I don't know how much afterwards he was stable for, but I did read something saying that he was stable and that he did not overdose. So if you're stable and you didn't overdose, there shouldn't be anything written saying that a man may have overdosed, but that's just how the media is. And I think a lot of us can agree with that. So if you're stable, that's not somebody who overdosed. And again, I'm not agreeing with drug use. But if you're not hurting anybody and you're isolated and you're by yourself, you know, it's kind of, if this is all legit, which we have yet to find out more of the details and more of the evidence. If it is legit, I mean, it's not a good thing. But if it's not, it's just sad that someone's reputation has to have something like this on it. I will say that in general, so I'm just going to speak generally here, not just about Matt Reilly, because we live in a world with very flawed humans. There's a lot of us, that myself included, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have an issue in one way, shape, or form. And I really believe that. I believe a lot of people abuse their body in general. And it doesn't have to be just through drugs, by the way. I can think of people who are diabetic and they just continue to eat sugar, or they just continue to have pizza and pasta, which basically turns to sugar. I can think of people who who drink excessively. There's no way that's healthy for your body. I don't care that's just on the weekends. That's not good. That's not a good habit to just have drink after drink after drink. Sometimes on empty stomach, sometimes with smoking in between, sometimes not. But the point is that there's no way that drinking that much alcohol can be healthy, especially if it's strong drinks. Smoking, it's just lighting up, just another cigarette, get the lighter out again and again and again. Even though I can't make it up the stairs, not me, but other people, can't make it up the stairs, you're just going to keep lighting a cigarette constantly. You are abusing your body. So I'm just giving examples of how we as humans, whether it's diabetes, liquor, smoking, and much more, we're affecting our body. That doesn't make the news, but drugs will make the news. How about prescription drugs? I think a lot of people on prescription drugs, some abuse them, some don't. Some take more than they're supposed to take. Some people are like, you can tell they're a little tired. Oh, what would you say? Like, I've seen people like this. I'm not just imitating them. It's real. Whether they're professional people or not, I have met people over the years that I know as a fact they're on prescription drugs, which can almost be as bad as being on a street drug, in my opinion. And you can drop a comment, by the way, if you agree or disagree. But street drugs are another way that people abuse their body. Obviously, prescription drugs. People get even addicted to prescription drugs to the point where they don't even work anymore, kind of get immune to it. I only think these people are only affecting themselves. They're hurting themselves. Yes, they could be directly or indirectly hurting others. But if they're doing their own bad habits in private, like eating too much sugar if they're a diabetic person, or smoking too much, or doing too many drugs, prescription or not, you're hurting yourself more than anything. Why is this newsworthy? And again, I think it's newsworthy because he's an elected official. But it's just sad it has to be that way, but it is. Let's see. I mean, I've seen these things, like I said, with professional people, not professional people. I've seen it at parties or at other types of gatherings, and I say to myself, I hope so-and-so, like, she doesn't drive home like that because she obviously appears drunk. I hope he doesn't drive home like that because he appears, I don't know, high, drunk, both. And you see people in life. I usually don't stay to the end of parties, so I'm out of there to even know who got a ride home and who didn't. But there's enough people that are my direct people where I could offer them a ride. I mean, I guess I could offer them a ride. I don't think they listen because they're there with their own siblings or their own significant other. They're not going to listen to me, and I don't think they should be driving a car. But I've seen these things happen over the years, and it is really sad. So why do people do this? You know, why are people turning to drugs or alcohol or turning to anything? I think some of them, it becomes a self-medicating thing. I think they enjoy it and they get numb for it, and they just numb from it, and they just, you know, it helps erase their problems maybe for that moment or maybe for the next few hours. So they enjoy it. There's a sense of curing whatever's going on in their head and numbing it. I think some people are truly addicted. Other problems in life that just get in the way, and I kind of get it, and I'm not encouraging any kind of drug use or any kind of habit of any sort. But you almost can see just with life and sometimes what life throws at you, whether it was expected or unexpected, you can almost see why people sometimes do turn to these vices. And it doesn't make it okay, it doesn't excuse it. I'm just saying I get it. I mean, there's people that have been in the military service that I've seen quite a bit that could have affected them. There's people that have seen people die, maybe young people die. Other types of tragic things involving fires, involving water, involving anything, drowning. It's really sad stuff. And a lot of mental health issues that people have. So when you have all these different things going on in life, you sometimes do turn to alcohol or prescription drugs or anything that I guess that will help you. And I don't agree with that, but I'm just saying I think it is a real thing, and you can drop a comment if you agree or disagree with what I'm saying. But some of these people are also doing these things in the comfort of their own home and the privacy of their own home. So they drink a whole bottle of wine, or they you know, they have whatever, prescription drugs, not prescription drugs, street drugs. They do it in their home. They don't get caught. They're at work the next day. And then it's just kind of, you know, this just reminds me of someone I knew. I shouldn't laugh, but someone I knew who I think had a drinking problem. He didn't think he did. This is someone separate I'm talking about. Who's much older than Matt Reilly, but he was in my life for a short time years ago, and I just said, I got to know him, and he was just, I didn't realize he was an alcoholic. I thought it was him, but what I later realized, when I saw the real him, is that he was always on a buzz. He was working with a buzz going. He was going out with friends with a buzz, family things with a buzz. And then one time I saw him and I said, what happened? And he said, what? Nothing. And he was just like, face just so serious, just mean, rude, snapped at me, just was so out of character. And I'm like, what went wrong though? Like, why are you acting like this? And when I realized that was him sober, he was just a complete a-hole while he was sober. But as long as if he had those few drinks, he was buzzed. But it just seemed like he was just a friendly guy. So he has, the world basically fooled this guy. So anyway, he, you know, I won't say, he works in the hospitality business, but it was just crazy to see, and I saw it with my own eyes. So I get it. Like, I don't think that's okay, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of people out there that are probably fooling us in a lot of ways. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Matt Reilly just got caught, so to say. If he truly did something wrong, which has yet to really be proven, and it really does. We don't know everything yet. I know there's people who cover for other people. They cover for them, and they're hiding that person's vices. I don't care if it's the person's mom, if it's the person's manager, let's say it's a famous person, whether they're locally famous or famous on a national world level. Their manager's covering for them. They could be hung over in the other room. Oh yeah, no, they can't take a call right now. They're in a meeting, and really they're hung over, sleeping still. You know, there's famous people that have these people covering for them constantly. There's everyday people that have people covering for them, okay? And they're covering for them doing any kind of vice, even if it's not something that's harming their body. Maybe they're just cheating on their spouse, or they're just, I don't know, supposed to be at work, but they're not. You know, there's people that cover for other people all the time. I know this is a weird example. I really like Mariah Carey. I like her music a lot. But someone like her, she even said in an interview when she had a breakdown, you know, physical and I guess emotional, mental. She was working like 20-hour days. I mean, she was physically exhausted, and I guess she collapsed one day, and she happened to not be with her entourage, but she happened to be with her mom. And she said this in an interview. This is years ago, but she did say, I remember the interview. And her mom just called 911 as if to say, oh my God, she collapsed, she's exhausted. And she called 911, where if she had been with her entourage, with her manager, and with her assistant, that would have been covered up well, like, hey, let's get some sleep. Let's go to a doctor tomorrow. And it would have been done in private, is my point. So people are covering for other people. I'm not saying if that's right or wrong. I'm just putting it out there that it's something that's part of our world that people do cover up for other people. You know, I mean, I know I'm talking about someone famous. Well, maybe Matt Reilly is locally famous. I don't know if he has a manager or an office manager or a secretary or whatever. I don't know if people cover for him, not cover for him. I don't want to like really imply that, but all I'm saying is he unfortunately did get caught in a scenario, whether it's legit or not, you know. And it just is sad because I guess what I'm trying to make a point of is that there's so much more going on in our world on a local level and bigger than that, where there's a lot of covering up going on for people, and people just get away with stuff for years. So to me, those people, are you helping? Because if you're helping and you're getting the person the support and you're covering up, I don't think that's the worst thing, because you're going to help that person privately get help. They're able to still function on a professional level, and some can, but privately they're seeking help. I think that's okay. But if they're kind of allowing it, like, yeah, do what you're going to do. Go ahead, you know, drink that bottle of wine, drink a couple, you know, like, I got you, I'll cover this. Like, I don't think that's okay. So there's people who enable the behavior, people who will not enable it. And then, again, back to Matt Reilly. I don't think he should resign or step down. I did see something on Channel 6 on Google talking about a potential, don't quote me, but something to do with resigning from his position as councilman in Cranston. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think an isolated incident dictates if you should be resigning or not. I don't care how it looks. I think Cranston has bigger things going on. Oh, it doesn't look right, you know, well, you know what? You know how many people have a drug issue or a drinking issue? Just look it up on Google. Look up Alcoholics Anonymous. They're everywhere. They're at meetings. I'm not kidding you. On my last time searching it, There are meetings in every city in town, or almost every city in town in Rhode Island, from morning to like late at night. There are meetings, whether they're in church halls, whether they are in community centers. There are places that hold meetings for Alcoholics Anonymous. So that goes to show you the problem is huge if you have these meetings around the clock and you have these, you know, this is available to the people. So I'm just making an example of it that, you know, I'm not saying Matt Reilly has I don't want to keep even focusing on him because he's not the only one who has done these kind of vices or whatever you want to call them. You know, there's a lot out there. So a lot of people have things that are their vice. You don't just step down. Look, I wouldn't step down if it was me, and I think people would understand that and say, okay, if he does need help, which we don't really know yet, we have more details to find out, but if he does need help, meaning if Matt Reilly does need help with all this, then as long as if he gets the appropriate help, why would he need to step down? Like that's how I look at it. Why? Because it doesn't look good? Well, I just expressed that there's plenty of people who don't look good and are being covered up for, and there's plenty of people who have vices who continue to lead and live a professional life. Professional or not professional, or even live a good life, and they still have those vices. So it's just I have a more broad way of looking at it. How about this? How about people who have personal issues within their marriage, and then they bring that to work? And now let's say it's someone important like the department head or a boss of a company, and he or she has issues in their marriage, and they're bringing that to work, that anger on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And now they're just snapping at people because they're upset about what just happened at home, and they can't leave that at the door at work. So now they're just snapping at their employees, just snapping at them. Okay, I don't think that's okay. That's a different vice. Okay, maybe that's not something you're doing to hurt yourself, but you are clearly hurting others because of your personal problems at home that you shouldn't be bringing to work. But people get away with it. So now that same boss who just acted so inappropriate and rude, and everyone just hates him or her. But really, if him or her wasn't in that marriage, maybe they wouldn't have to hate him or her. But anyway, it's affecting their important decision making. So if they are that day, they have to make a decision for the company or for the business, department head, whatever it is, they're in charge and they have to make important decisions. They may make crappy decisions because of the things that are going on in their mind other than work. That's not good. That's another thing that should be looked at. So now, if there's council members that have, issues they're bringing to the table, I'm just throwing this out there, in their marriage, do we just dismiss them and say, oh, they should just resign because they're bringing bad things to the table? They should resign. That's something to think about. I'm sure there's people out there who do that, who do bring negativity and bring nothing good to the table because of their other issues in their life. But those people are not being looked upon badly. I'd rather you just go do some drugs on your own, from time to time and still be present and be here and make good decisions. And yeah, I'm not encouraging drugs because I don't do them either, but I'm just saying, if you had to pick, why would I want a crappy boss who's constantly in a bad mood, constantly taking things out on everyone else, when you can have someone who has their own vice, no matter what it may be? Maybe they go to strip clubs all the time. I don't know what they do. Don't care. Gotta be honest. I don't care what you do on your personal time. As long as if you're not bringing it to the office, and in Matt Reilly's case, as long as if he's not bringing it to the job. Why do we care? This is the kind of world we live in. We shouldn't really be caring. Again, I think there's much bigger things going on in Cranston. And I say, instead of taking a step down, make the taxpayers decide. When the next election comes about, are they going to vote for someone who has this kind of a thing on their record, so to say, which isn't even solved yet? But are you going to vote for this person or not? I think it's going to be 50-50. I think some people are going to care and say, no, we can't vote for so-and-so because they did this or that, back in 2023. And then there's some other people that are going to say, I know addiction's a problem and I know people sometimes make mistakes and I'm going to still vote for him or her. That's how I look at it. I think we need to move on from this. I don't think Matt Reilly hurt anybody. If he does need help, I say it's okay to get help in private and continue on as a professional. I think that's very fair to ask for. I do feel bad for his family, for his kids, for his friends. I don't know if he has a woman in his life currently, but I feel bad for her if he does. And I do believe that Matt is an asset to Cranston. He did go public with recovery in the past, so he has admitted publicly that he had an abuse problem in the past. I think it was a substance abuse, don't quote me, but there was something on Google that he did have a recovery thing that he did, and it was only to obviously inspire others that yes, there is help and yes, you can get help. So I do commend him for doing that. He was the class president over at Cranston West when he was over at Cranston West back in the 90s. He's an educated man. He is a successful attorney. And it's sad if one thing can just kind of be like this, you know, this big thing. I think the news media can be more positive and not so focused on isolated incidents such as this. You give you an example. There's 3 authors. There's 3 female Cranston authors that I don't think ever made Channel 10, 12, or 6. And please drop a comment if I'm wrong, because maybe they did. I think it's something that got promoted on social media, Facebook included. So it's Lauren Giammarco, Tara Camp Williams, and Erica Caligieri. All 3 women, all around my age, I want to say. Early 40s, don't quote me, but still from Cranston. All wrote self-help books. Definitely something I'm interested in reading. I have read one. I have yet to get to the other 2, but I will get to all 3. Now that to me is news media worthy. That's excellent. You know, they have these books under their belt. They're all from Cranston. They did a great job. And I have a feeling it never made it to 6, 10, or 12. I'm pretty sure it didn't, but my point is it should have. But instead we're focusing on what someone's doing in his car all by himself. We're focusing on that, which really wasn't impacting anybody in that moment. It also was written that he was in stable condition, getting back to Matt. You have that in writing, okay? He didn't hurt anybody. We still haven't proven if there was any drugs in his system. It's a big question there. What was in your system at that point in time? He didn't hurt anyone, or it appears he didn't hurt anybody else. He's hurting himself, potentially. If he's in stable condition, he therefore did not have an overdose. This should be just totally case dismissed. Nobody got hurt. There's way too many gray areas, unanswered questions, and I think the charges will be dropped. I mean, I'm not an attorney, but that's the vibe that I get from this whole thing, or probably the way it should go. When you don't have enough evidence to prove something, you know, that's why things do get dismissed or dropped or whatever. So I have a feeling this case is going to go that way because it doesn't sound like there's enough evidence, and it's already in writing right now that he was in stable condition. So if you're in stable condition and you didn't OD, I mean, you know, and again, I'm not promoting drugs. I'm not promoting having vices. I'm just saying, if you look at the bigger picture, they're out there in very, very, very large numbers. And it appears that he may have been unlucky to have gotten caught, so to say. So anyways, drop a comment like always on here or on the post, which is on my page also about this whole thing with Matt Reilly. And thanks guys for tuning in. I'm gonna let you know where I'm gonna be next week. I will be in Johnson next week. Also I wanted to share, I know this is really weird, but I have a few people I know are going to the Taylor Swift concert, and drop a comment, maybe you're going or someone you know. I don't really, you know, follow her music. I can't even really think of a song off the top of my head. I don't think it's really going to be my genre or anything like that, so she doesn't really interest me. I think she has a nice home over in, you know, Watch Hill, Westerly. I saw it from far before, in person from far. Couldn't get any closer. It's all gated off. But yeah, Taylor Swift, she will be at Gillette Stadium coming up now. I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm only bringing it up. I am excited for the few people I know that are going. I'm excited for them because I know they're excited. So I'm excited for them, but we're talking like $200 for a ticket, $500 for a ticket. One person I know is paying $1,000 for a ticket. So if you're paying anywhere from the hundreds to $1,000 for a Taylor Swift ticket, okay, I mean, I guess that's your choice and your prerogative. It's not wrong, but it's like, wow, like that's like a mortgage payment, or especially if you're splitting the mortgage with someone else or splitting the rent, that's a very hefty ticket cost. And thanks guys for tuning in. I already talked about Matt Reilly. If you want to rewind this, I'm going to be ending shortly. I am at Tavolo Wine Bar and Tuscan Grille over in Warwick, but again, the Matt Reilly stuff I already discussed, so definitely feel free to rewind it. But yeah, Taylor Swift, I mean, it's nothing against her, but I mean, that's pretty hefty ticket prices, and I don't go to concerts, so I'm assuming this is pretty standard. It's a pretty standard cost, so maybe I shouldn't just pick at her. But she's kind of the topic of the day, topic of the week, because she's going to be right here next door at Gillette Stadium. And again, I'm excited for the people because I see the excitement in them. They really want to go. But I mean, that's basically a mortgage payment. So here's my question, why? Why are concert tickets so expensive? Like, what is the money? People have to be pocketing money. I mean, it doesn't cost that much to fly over the famous person and, you know, with their whole hair, makeup, and everything. I mean, okay, yes, you have to pay the venue, but I mean, it just sounds very excessive, very expensive. I didn't do the research on it, but I wanted to. Why are concert tickets so expensive? And then all I could say is we're just in the wrong business. You know, all of us must be in the wrong business if you're paying $500 for a ticket or $1,000. I mean, I don't think I'd ever see $1,000 or even spend $200 to go see anybody, but everybody's different. You know, I get it, the live experience. I'm sure it is fun. Hey, hi there. Hi, Mike. Thanks for tuning in. Hello. But everybody's different. You know, I don't know. I mean, if they want to do that, you know, and hopefully it's fun. Hopefully it's worth it. Hopefully a show's worth it. And I'm happy for them if they're happy, but I just don't know where all that money comes from. So I made a joke with some. I said, oh, well, then that means restaurants should start saying, meaning if you want to be like, oops, alarm going off. Sorry about that. Like if you want to try to be like Taylor Swift, or I don't want to just blame her, any of these famous people, then we have to, if we want to be like them and be in the right business, so to say, money-wise, the right business, well, people who own a restaurant, then maybe they should start charging, you know, $30 for a hamburger and, you know, $20 for like a draft beer. like if we want to really act that way and act like these famous people, I guess we could copy them, but I just don't think it's moral. I don't think it's right to just overcharge people. I also want to say, before tell you where I'm going to be next week, is the raffle prizes. Again, last time's raffle prize did not get claimed. It was for Beyond Infinity. It was a psychic reading, tarot card reading, free reading. Someone did win it, but they didn't call me to claim the prize. So I think I got to put up a post, maybe just like its own separate post, like make sure that you call me to claim your prize, because that is, it says it in the small print, but maybe not everybody's reading the small print under the raffle post to know the difference, is what I'm assuming. So that prize wasn't claimed, so we'll be up for grabs again. And thanks guys for tuning in. Feel free to comment like always. Next week, the 23rd of May, I will be at Copperfield's in Johnston. So Copperfield's Burgers, to be exact, is in Johnston, 678 Killingley Street, right in Johnston. It will be an afternoon live. And Bobby Nicholson may or may not be on with me. So thanks guys, appreciate it. Who's writing in, Thomas? It costing, oh yeah, really? That wasn't me. It doesn't take you, I don't think we've ever spent $300 out to dinner. No, not yet. That's a joke. That's a laugh out loud. Oh my goodness. But you know what I mean. If we want to try to act like that, then we're just going to start charging people left and right. I mean, I'm sorry. I just never heard of that. Charging $500 or $1,000 for a ticket. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the world we live in. But thanks guys. Tune in next week. It'll be in the afternoon. Like and share. Bye-bye.